What's up, everybody? Hanging out twitch.tv/Rocket League, and it's been a while since we've talked about like roster news around the RLCS. We've got an EU video for everybody, all the EU fans wondering about what the heck's been going on. This is a accumulation of a bunch of different news, some old, some new, but just trying to find a way to pair it all together and keep you guys up to date. A lot of you who are kind of ingrained in the scene should already know about a lot of this stuff, but for those that don't, this is basically for the YouTube audience. So we're hanging out here at twitch.tv/Lawler. And we're going to crush through these one by one, get some takes from the comments and everybody over here. We're telling you to do the thing. Make sure you guys hit like, hit subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. With that said, let's jump to the other screen and talk with these one by one. First and foremost, the big thing that we've been wondering, Dignitas mentality's been in kind of a poo-poo place. They have not been playing all that great, but they're trying to fix that. A lot of people are wondering, yo, Moist, no longer Team Queso. What's happening with Nick? Why isn't he with the roster anymore? Dignitas puts out a tweet trying to figure out what the heck's going on. We need a coach. Well, they found their coach. It's Nick, the former coach of the Queso roster, who is now Moist, has officially joined Dignitas. To my knowledge, he was actually with them in the regional before he was officially signed and was helping out. So, again, trying to help out. Dignitas still playing well, still doing great. We watched their Team Queso, or we watched the Dignitas Team Liquid game, and it was all one-goal games until Game 3, where a Tau double-dunked them into an open net to win the OT. And then they kind of tilted and lost like 4-1 or something like that. So Dignitas still playing fairly well. It's just the mental. They're kind of in a funk, as we've defined it, and capabilities to get back out. There's still one regional left, and Dignitas team do not count out. So Nick, the latest coach for Dignitas. Up next, probably the most awkward thing, Heroic. Obviously, a team that has not been performing well. Also, want to let you guys all know, ViolentPanda definitely pays his debts. He did drop me a $50 dono, and I win. I won the bet. Doesn't feel good. I was hoping to see Panda in London, but as of right now, there may be no team from that Dignitas roster at the major when we run it back in Copperbox. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, this upcoming week is going to be all Europe focused for predictions and playoff scenarios. So make sure you guys hit subscribe so you don't miss out on that. But what Heroic did is they made a little bit of a whoopsie. They announced that, hey, we're parting ways with our team. And they tag one of their former players in Oli, who doesn't play for them anymore. Luckily, in the picture, it is Nozaki. So at least they've got the right person. But they tagged the wrong guy. Shortly after they do fix it, and they put in Nozaki. So like at least they figured out. So a little bit of a whoopsies there, and eventually they do fix it. So with that said, Heroic no longer representing the former team, and there's more information that comes from that as well. Two sides to it. ViolentPanda does talk about some certain circumstances. One, he finally opens up. If you guys haven't watched my series Rocket Talk, I actually sit down and do an interview with ViolentPanda about this. But he talks about some of the issues and the injuries he's been dealing with over the last 2 years, and talks about how he's had tendinitis in actually both of his thumbs. He started seeing a doctor. The doctor basically told him, like, hey, Elrond Hoverboard is going to drop a Prime Gaming sub, and you're going to say thank you to him. But the doctor also talks about how, hey, we need you to rest. We want you to not strain your thumbs. And then on top of that, with COVID, when you're not working out, it actually weakened the tendons for ViolentPanda. So he sought after a new physiotherapist. He actually told him you need to strengthen these things, and basically talks about his perspective on it. Work out, be healthy, do all these things to make sure it doesn't happen to you. I lived through this situation. It sucked. He also talks about how Heroic, due to their decision, has caused them to go separate ways. So while the Heroic situation is no more, they will actually be competing together, to my knowledge, with Growly. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong with that. I'm sure Wojtek is going to put up somewhere on the screen what has actually been the announcement for the team that is going to compete in the third regional. But as of right now, ViolentPanda is no longer with. He's going to go do his own thing. They also own up to the fact that there was some decisions that they made that, due to their circumstances between Verge, ViolentPanda, and the team, that they may not have been the right decisions in the moment, but they put a lot of pressure on themselves due to the circumstance that was happening. So he does talk and open up. If you guys want a link to this, it'll be in the description down below if you'd like to listen to everything ViolentPanda has to say. But yeah, he also does mention the video. So if you guys want to hear him talk about it, he does reference it in there. ViolentPanda and I have talked a lot about this over the last 2 years. I'm very, very blessed to think he considers me a friend, even though he won't admit it in chat. He never says it. It's always rude. But ViolentPanda have gotten pretty close since he and I hung out in New Jersey for the Season 7 World Championships. And he and I talked a lot about this. I kind of was able to kind of keep him and kind of be there as a confidant in moments where he had questions about stuff. So I've known about this for quite a while, and it's good to see him on the other side of things, which is how I replied to it. Like, he's been talking to me about this for quite a while, so it is awesome to hear that he is finally on the recovery side. He's able to grind again. He's got that resurgence back. So I'm very happy for Panda, because you never want to see someone who has their passion take away from them due to like injury related things or in general. So Heroic, no more. ViolentPanda on his own, trying to find a new roster, trying to get back the immaculate vibes with our team, and is on to that next chapter. As for the current Heroic roster, no more. To my knowledge, they are still competing with Growly as a fill instead of Panda. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. Up next, Team Singularity. Their situation also different. If you guys don't know, the Singularity roster puts out an update saying they're temporarily departing again. Singularity seems like, hey, we're going to be in Rocket League. We're going to find one that sticks eventually, but as of right now, it is not it. So they do say that the roster, Polar, Chippy, and Justice, didn't get the results that they were hoping for, and after doing several tryouts, have decided to separate. So the substitute Sting will stay on as a content creator, and Vel, their coach, will also still be there as they're working on a future project. We don't know what that project's going to be. I assume it'll be a new team in some capacity. They do talk about how Singularity does have some future projects in plan, and they talk about their casters and kind of put nods towards certain people and all that kind of stuff. If you want to read the full article, it'll be in the description down below. But Singularity also team no more. We then got some craziness with Williams Resolve. This one comes in multiple parts. We got perspectives from different players. There was multiple posts about this situation, but Williams Resolve does put out an official post saying, hey, decision was made this evening to bench one of our players during the regional qualifier. Stepping in and out of retirement is the one and only Rix Ronde. Wojtek, if you can put the Super Rixie song. Super Rixie, it's going to be in my head the rest of the day. But it says their head coach will play the remainder of the season alongside Prime and Stake. Not a decision we made lightly. However, the behavior displayed during our games this evening is behavior which the player has been previously warned for and then subsequently also fined by. Like, something's going on internally. So you never know what is happening there. Cannot get videos done. This is the problem when you try to record live videos. Sometimes people are very generous and try to support you, and then they also rate you, and then things happen. Wayton, we're recording a live video. Hi, Raiders from Wayton. Themio is a very talented Rocket League player, but there is more to being a teammate and a professional than mechanical skill. I'm surprised they actually lean into this. Usually this stuff stays really private. Usually they do not talk about the things that are going on when it comes to the background. Usually they say, hey, this is the decision we're making. This is the replacement. Handshakes, done. Dap each other up. We're good. But they express it publicly so much to the fact that it's like, wow, okay. They don't want this to go any other way. So they talk about he's talented, but apparently there's some issues going on internally. Understand he's a young man and we'll continue to try to educate him on what that means to be a professional in line with the culture and the values that we stand for. We also have to consider the fact that Salomon Strawn is doing a Prime Gaming sub. Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, we have to consider the careers and the environment that the other two young players have to play in. So apparently an environmental issue, some internal conflict going on, maybe some frustrations about some stuff. It happens. Bringing a Rix admittedly is not the ideal scenario. Savage, poor Rix. But Rodri does show support by also giving a Prime sub. Plenty of primers in chat today. Feels good, man. Having not been a competitive player for some time, want to foster the right environment internally, and who's going to know it better than the coach? Luckily, he's a former pro, so there is some experience. But again, when you're not informed, it feels weird. We saw that on display with Eclipse, coach of Endpoint, who had to step in, but at least he got a goal. So fingers crossed for Rix and see if he can do the same. Cliche as it may sound, to us, the journey is far more important where you ultimately end up. So again, trying to identify, but I do kind of agree with some of these comments. I don't know why they made the situation public about the player. Like, I don't know if it's like a warning of like, hey, this situation is occurring and it's kind of weird, but we do get takes from both of his teammates, both from Stake as well as Saizen, who talks about what's going on. It says, as I got benched for the rest of the second regional, I'm going to explain a bit more of the situation so everyone can understand. So while he is being kind of chastised here, like, hopefully we figure out what's going on. So I'm still trying to my best to change. Apologize for that, but I don't expect anyone to forgive me. I'm not going into the details of what exactly happened, but I have some serious stuff IRL going on since I was 13 to 14, and I'm living on my own since I was 15. Wow, that's hopefully he's taken care of. Always been alone in my room and had a lot of problems with everyone at school. Just dickhead to everyone. Again, it's a lot of times, especially in young ages, this is like a psychological thing where it is them lashing out. It's more of a defensive thing, which is unfortunate. You never wish that upon anybody. Not been a good teammate. Times where I wasn't motivated, wasn't calming much, was playing bad. First regional, third split. Big issue with my parents that made me not care about the game. RLCS. Didn't calm, was playing like garbage. Asked for a week off. Manager decided to keep scrimming. It's tough, right? Like, you're trying to do the best to perform, and it's your job. And this kind of goes back to that conversation. I put out a video of increasing the age from 15 to 17. I knew it was controversial. If you guys haven't watched that video, go check it out. But this is a circumstance that I think is outside of that. It's very difficult to have real life stuff happen while also the strictness of the schedule that's like, you got to play, go for 11 months straight. Like, it's really rough. And it's like, I feel for him at the same time. I don't know the details. This is one perspective. We're going to look at stakes after. Calm my best, played super good. Wasn't speaking, which tilted me. Messaged them to change things. And then I rage quitted. Again, you can be frustrated, but you got to finish out the matches. And then the CEO says I couldn't play anymore. Big sorry to Steak, who's a great mate, who left a broken team to join an even more broken one. Again, this is stuff that, understand, chat, that a lot of times, like when we see teams split, it's not due to performance. It's not, a lot of times it is internal stuff. And this is just a small portion of it. So I do hope that in the end, Saizen does find support and stability in the home life, because it is a massive difference maker when it comes to, you know, having a good living environment, being able to translate that in. You know, we talk about routine, not only on the mental side of things, but also the physical side of things, working out, having a regular routine, eating healthy. Stuff makes a difference, and even more so when you have a support system. Hopefully he's okay with me sharing this, but Luke from Ghost Gaming, I don't know if anybody remembers Luke for Ghost Gaming, who played a season, was the same thing. You know, the home base didn't support his career path, which is frustrating. Like, when you're a talented player and you're doing all the right things, you're like, heck yeah, we did well in this tournament. You go down and the parents are just like, man, I don't care. That sucks. That really sucks. It kind of kills your motivation to not have that support structure. And I'm very lucky and very blessed that my parents support me in everything I do. As stupid as it may be, as long as I'm passionate about it and as long as I'm making the right decisions, they're willing to support me so I can learn, you know. And not everybody has that. It's really tough. So shout out to all the parents that support. It goes a long way. Steak's perspective on this says he left a team where there wasn't a good environment and joined one that's completely broken, that I just wanted to give my best this last split so I could start next season with the best motivation attitude possible. Not going to get in the details or anything of the stuff that happened in the team before I joined and that are still happening right now. What I want to clarify is that no one has a problem with me and the team, even when I'm the new one. True, you're coming into a situation that you're not aware of, so that stuff does happen. And it's not in my hands to affect my reputation or if anyone doubts about my professionalism and attitude. Again, it's tough. You see it from the outside. It's really weird because, like, obviously Steak wants to put his best foot forward and show, like, hey, I am not part of this situation. Please pick me up. Please let me find a team where I can be successful and do my thing. But at the same time, it's like you want to be respectful of the situation too. So it's like he's in this kind of weird situation where it's like, yo, Resolve is imploding. What the hell's going on? Hey, by the way, I'm good. Sign me, please. You know, like it's such a weird situation. So hopefully it all works out. Hopefully support has happened. But yeah, Williams Resolve kind of exploded. Pretty crazy stuff. So again, this is learning experience from everybody across the board. Try to find people, management, otherwise, to be able to work through these complications. And at the same time, Williams Resolve, take an investment in your players. I'm not saying they're not, but like, if this stuff is actually happening with Saizen, where he's having issues at home and stuff, hopefully you guys present a situation where you can be like, hey, what's going on at home? Is there something we can do to help? But it's difficult. Like, can you overstep? Like, we're talking young kids. So really crazy situation across the board. So we've got some teams that are disbanding. We've got a new coach on board. We've got some crazy stuff going on with injury-related things, but a little bit of everything over in the European scene. With that said, I do appreciate you guys all coming in and hanging out, as well as Jamaican Coconut. Thank you for the raid. Hopefully you had a good stream. All the interruptions and everything we're going to double back on and say thanks to now, but if you guys also would like to interrupt me, easy way to do it. Come over to the stream, twitch.tv/LAWL. We stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday. Trying to keep you guys up to date the best of my ability, even with the interruptions. But that is going to do it for this video. If you guys do enjoy the content, as always, thumbs up, subscribe, notifications. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.